Good morning, a big blank screen in front of you, and welcome to another Daily Creativity with yours truly, Charlotte Burns. I'd just like to start by saying thank you so much to everybody who's been watching these live videos, and also those who've been watching on the replay or watching over on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching and giving your feedback. It means the world to me. You know, I do these lives and I'm not sure if anyone's out there watching. I don't know if anyone's really appreciating it, and I've been getting some private feedback recently and even in-person feedback, which has been great. So for all of those of you who are watching, thank you for your feedback. Now today I want to share that I'm feeling really overwhelmed with life, actually. There is so much going on as we're hurtling towards Craft Alive, and there's just so much going on. So today I'm beating the overwhelm by getting the simple stuff done. That is the title of this particular video. Not necessarily a daily creativity today. I might be able to share some creativity, but I am seriously not feeling creative. So I'm getting some of the simple stuff done in preserving my photos. What I've got for you today is, or what I've got to use, is, first of all, I have got an album. So I'm going to show you how you can preserve some photos, preserve memories. And I'm starting with, I've got an album. You don't need an album. You can just use, for instance, a box. So close to my heart boxes are fantastic because, especially these, what I'd call a pizza box, they do hold our memory protectors. You can see these were packed away and I've pulled them out of storage. So I've also got a box of memory protectors. I've spoken about this in previous videos. This is how I do it. But I actually wanted to show you how I pull my photos out of my my old albums that are destroying the photos, and I put them into a new album. So this, I've also got this, which is some white cardstock, and I have got a bulk pack, which occasionally I offer on special to my customers. If you do need any white cardstock in a bulk, and I'm talking 100 sheets, let me know. All right, so I've got some white cardstock handy, ready to go, because I'm going to need tons of that. And of course, I have a photo album. I've also got some adhesive, and I've got some flip flaps. Now, you don't need the flip flaps. I have got some flip flaps just in case, just a couple of sizes. I know all of my photos are going to be 6x4. I can trim them down if I want to, but they're all going to be 6x4. The other thing that I have got is I've got some different sized memory protectors. So I've actually grabbed some 6x6 memory protectors that do fit in our 12x12 albums. And I've grabbed some 8.5x11 because back in the day I used to take some really strange photos, and I thought I'd just chuck these in and see, well, I'd have them handy just to see if I did need them. Now, I did just think one thing I might have needed was my trimmer, but unless I can grab it immediately, which I can't because I think it's in my other room, I'm just going to leave that. So this is how I do it, okay? And I always go to sing that song, but I'm not today because I'm just not in the mood. I'm just going to pause and say hi to Linda. If you are watching live, anyone else, feel free to say hi. I'll probably be standing throughout this video, and so I will be able to say hello to you. So this is an album, and I've got written on the outside, how horrible is that? This is 1992 to 1993, and it's in one of these very old magnetic albums is what they used to call them. And you can see on the pages that how it's gone brown. These had, you know, acid and lignin and all those horrible things in them. But they were super easy to put photos in, and they're also a good size. So this is the size of the album. And if I pull across my 12x12s and pop that underneath, you can see that it's quite a bit smaller than a 12x12 album. I could, if I wanted to, take my smaller sized pages, which these are possibly even, look at that. It's around about an 8.5x11 inch album. I could take this and I could just transfer them all into these and put them back in this particular album cover. But I also know that in the past these have come apart. Now, I personally loved these albums because of the fact that you could take pages out. So these were similar to our D-rings, but they did fall apart. This one hasn't, and it's obviously been around for a while. But I want to put these into 12x12 into 12 by 12 albums. So the first thing I do is I have a look at the first one and I take that out. This is obviously the front cover, and I have one photo. So it's out. I also have a little note in here that looks terrible. It's on a blue sticky note and I've put that in there. Shocking, I know. So I've got my first photo and I want to flip the page and just have a look and see if any other photos are going to go on a page with this, which realistically, it doesn't look like they are. So I'm going to keep flipping and just see if there are photos that might go with this one. And I've got another standalone photo here. So what I could in fact do is take one of my 6x6 memory protectors, which is under that pile there. So I could take one of these I could put that photo in there. I'm not going to put any white cardstock in the bottom of that. And then I can take this photo, and you might notice when I'm pulling these out, I'm not pulling them, not ripping them and curling them. I'm actually trying to lift them like so. I do know that there are some albums that when you go to take your photos out, they won't come out. You could try the heat embossing method, which is use your heat embossing gun and try and take them out that way. Or you can also use a lifting tool. So Close Heart do have a lifting tool, which is this one here. And it's got a pointy end, which is great for some things. And then it's also got this end. You can also use that to get underneath your photos and lift your photos. So that's my first page, that's my second page. And I'll pop this back across. Now this is me being very OCD, which when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I get even more OCD than I normally am, and wanting everything to be in date order. But it's also me being mature and realizing that some things don't have to be in date order. So this, I don't know, it's just a nice photo that I took, and I'm going to pop that in there. This does fit in this album. So that will go like that in the album. And then I put another memory protector in, which you'll see after my next pages. So we go back to my magnetic album, and I have a bunch of these photos. Now these are my mice. In 1992, I bred mice. You can see that one of them died. I may or may not want to have that up the front. So I'm pulling all of those out. And the next page shows, I'm going to put that one up the back, house cleaning at Birmingham Road. I've also come to a point in my life where I don't mind if I've only got one photo on a page. I'm going to take that out, and I can see with this one, the photo has definitely faded, and that's why I want to get it out of this magnetic album and onto some acid-free, lignin-free paper so that it doesn't fade anymore. So I'm taking that. I've now got two piles. Looking at the next pages, I've taken some photos at Lilydale Cemetery back in 1992. So the whole album is 92, 93. Now, why would I include photos of Lilydale Cemetery in my scrapbook? The reason for that is there's a story behind it. And the story behind it, I will share with you once I get to those pages. So I'm now happy with the fact that I'm going to do this on one page and these on another page. So I could just bang them straight into a memory protector. But what I found when I did that was I don't come back and do anything with it. And it makes it hard to actually see what's what's in the memory protector. Whereas this way, if I do it this way, which I'm about to show you, I actually come back, I can flick through an album and say, right, I want to do with this photo. I've got exactly the papers that I want, the layout that I want, and I can go from there. So with these photos here, I know in the album I had, I had that bit covered, that was down the bottom, and I do a rough layout of how I want my photos to be. So 1, 2, and 3, that can go down the bottom. Unfortunately, I didn't do any journaling. It just says my mice 1992. All of my mice had names, every single one of them. But obviously I haven't included that in this. So this little one here, I might even trim that down and, you know, pop it in a flip flap so that it's hidden. So what I might do is just go like that. But then when I think about it, it's only that photo. So a flip flap, you really need two. So let me show you a flip flap and what I'm talking about. So with a flip flap, this is a 4x6 flip flap. When you put something in a flip flap, so I want to hide this. So I'm going to put it, say, this way up. I then need somewhere to hide it. So say it's going to go, no, I did that wrong. No, that's right. So I either need like something in here or you need three. So 1, 2, 3. Now I want this to be showing on the front of my page. So that would naturally go on the front of my page. So then I've got 1, 2, 3. And then you could lift that up, but then there's kind of nothing underneath. So that's where journaling would have been really good, because if I had have journaled something about these mice, I could have done that. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to leave these like that in my page, because I know that at this time in my life, I was actually house sharing with a friend that I'm still in touch with. She's a very good friend. And I might even give her a call now and touch base with her and say, do you remember how we had mice at Birmingham Road? What can you tell me about that? And the story that she will be able to tell me, I can then journal and add to this album, which will just be really, really cool. And that's another great thing about scrapbooking, is that you can, you know, touch base with old friends or touch base with current friends and relive some memories. Gives you something to talk about. All right, so that page is finished. I'm going to put it in a memory protector. I need my memory protector going this way with the gutter on the right-hand side because it's a left-hand page. That I also need to stick down. And I'm using the Close to My Heart tape runner because when I pull these off the page again, it is going to come off a lot easier than if I use a different one. So that's my left-hand page done. My right-hand page, I can work out exactly where that photo goes once I figure out what layout I want to do. So I just put a tiny bit of adhesive on that. Doesn't matter I put it, just as long as it's, for me, in order. And there's so much in this photo that I would not crop out. So you can see, oh, I can see, I've got all my teddies up here. This was our fridge. Here's all my photo albums and books. I loved books. You know, just lots and lots of things. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I can tell that from the photo as well. Okay, so this then goes in here. Now, what I've realised though is these don't go next to each other. And this one actually needs to be this way in the album because my pages... So this, 1, 2, I need a page here. This is why I like not doing photos on the other side of my page, because I can then just pull this one out, flip that over. And again, it doesn't matter that it's only a single layout because that's actually what I need at this point in my album. 1, 2, 3. There we go. You know, I never used to think that I liked single page layouts, but now I see the benefit of it. So this one will then go in the back of here. Like that. And I've now actually done 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. And you know what? I'm starting to feel pretty good. And the other thing is that I've thought about getting in contact with my friend. She's actually going through a really, really hard time at the moment. I can contact her and take her mind off that and talk to her about the mice that we used to own back in Mount Evelyn. Weird, I know, but that is me. All right, let's have a look at the next pages. So the next pages are these photos here from Lilydale Cemetery. I'm going to take them out. And again, I'm not pulling by curling. I'm pulling like that. Now, and it'll be fun to go back to Lilydale Cemetery and see if I can find those particular graves as well. I'm not sure if they are significant in any way. They might be. Don't know. So I've got those ones. And then flicking over the page, I'm pretty sure that should be a blank page. No, all right. And then we come across a series of photos. So I know that I've done my left-hand page. I need a right-hand page. So this works perfectly. This is great. These two photos can go on my right-hand page. Again, it's a one-page spread, so that's really good. And it doesn't really matter how I stick it down, but I know that I'm going to want to do journaling. So why would I want photos of a cemetery on a page? Well, one is because there is a chance that one of these graves is somebody that I know. There's also a chance that it's not. I'm pretty sure that it is somebody I know because, first of all, yes, that's, in my opinion, that's a really pretty photo. But if it's not someone I know, I'm going to write about the fact that I used to go to cemeteries and take photos. I actually really like going to cemeteries. Call me weird. I find it a really peaceful place to go. And some of the tombstones in cemeteries are amazing. The stories, you know, some of the things they've used. I think I've got a photo of a tombstone that is a guitar. I thought that is awesome. I love that. So I used to go to cemeteries and take photos, and that's what I would write. And that's leaving a piece of me in this album for my kids to come back. And maybe they feel really weird because they like cemeteries. And they can come back and they can read that and see that, hey, that's where they get their weirdness from. They might even think maybe they're not weird. Oh, they probably will think they're weird because they are. All right, so that's that page. I've put my other page straight into my album. This one is just going across to the left. Bring over my magnetic album and I'm going to take these photos off. So I could do these on a double page spread, gently lifting these off. These are photos of a trial flight at Lilydale Airfield. And again, I'm remembering that this was a birthday present that I gave to my good friend Andrea back in 1992. Now, she was born in 1973, so it would have been for her, would have been a birthday present. Pretty sure I bought it as a birthday present. And I remember organising for her to go to the doctors to get her pre-flight check, and she had no idea, and it was so much fun. So the memories that are coming back now, I can now journal and put in this rather than just trial flight at Lilydale Airfield. I can journal on this. There's some more photos, so I'm going to pop these out of the album as well. And I'm having fun thinking about the times that we used to have. Most of these albums actually here are very much filled with the adventures of Andrea and Charlotte. Okay, so just again pulling these out. And what I might even do is just flip that pile over so that I can just start stacking. I like to keep them in order. Once I have them all out, I can then have a look at them and see, you know, do I really need to keep them in order or not? I'll flip the page and see if there are any more. But no, we now enter another story. So I'm going to put this one aside now and put my photos down. And one of the things that I realised as I was doing this process in some of the earlier albums was I have so many photos. Not as many as I have now that we've gone digital, but I really do have so many photos. And I was doing multiple pages of the same event. So I was doing 3, 4, 5, 6 pages of the same event. And my albums were getting more and more and more. And that's okay, I guess. But I realized that I have tools where I can condense the story. So you turn to one page and it's one story. And that's what I'm going to just have a look now. So here we have Andrea getting into the plane, Andrea sitting in the plane, Andrea sitting in the plane, Andrea taking off. So these three photos here, although they're fun and everything, I possibly don't need to see all of them. So I'm just going to stack them on there. I actually need another sheet of cardstock. I'm going to stack them there for the moment. Then we have the plane taking off in the distance, coming over and landing. I'm just going to stack them there. Then we have the landing and the after. So I'll stack them there. So I could stack them like that and just have, you know, those photos. The other thing I can do is say, look, I really do want to highlight more of these photos. So this is, you know, the propeller's stationary. This one, it's starting to go. And just have a bit of a look. I've got 1, 2, 3 photos there. I've got one. Now this one, you can barely see the plane, so I'll probably do something just to highlight that as the plane. 1, 2, 3. I can probably trim these down into 4" by 4" photos as well. This photo kind of doesn't really look like anything. And then those two. So I need to work out how to lay them out. I'm going to stop talking so that I can think, because I really can't do two things at the same time. And I'm also going to pull over some flip flaps. What happened to my flip flaps? There we go. Let's see if I can dump. And it's really hard. I only want these on 2 pages. If I go over, I really need to take them onto 4 pages, and I don't think there's enough to put them on 4 pages. There is another option, which is not going to work. So the other thing that I could have looked at, I'm just going to walk away from the camera for a minute, is this option here. So we have so many options when it comes to scrapbooking. And if you feel like this is something you'd like to do, empty out your magnetic albums, but you really don't want to invest in everything you need to get it done, please, please contact me or your consultant. I have plenty of bits and pieces in stock that I'd love to help you with. So this is a pocket page. I know all of my photos are in the landscape orientation. So what I could do is pop these 3 photos, 1, 2, 3 in here. I could have these 3 photos showing on that page. And then when I flip over, I've got space for 3 photos there, but I've only got 3 photos left. And that's why I said it's an option, but I'm not sure. And this is probably what takes me the longest. So I'm going to sit down and just have a look. All right, so we've got Andrea getting in. That's number 1. I also need to leave room for a title. Realistically, I can probably trim that because we know that it's Andrea in the plane. So I might trim that down to 4 by 4. This one again is, I really want to highlight the propeller. So if that's a 4 by 4 and this is a 4 by 4, they could sit next to each other. So I've got a 6, a 4 and a 4. Then these, I can also trim them down so that they are a bit shorter. So I'd really like to know where my choppy chop went. And that's when it was super handy to have 2 choppy chops, but one of them is packed up. I'm going to grab out this. I do prefer a choppy chop. And if you don't know what a choppy chopper is, it's a Fiskars photo trimmer. And it's a guillotine, so it cuts the photos the way they should be cut. So I'm going to cut these photos down. Now, I don't need to take them all the way down to 4" by 4" because 2 would fit across the page. It's just I don't want that many photos on this page. So I'm going to trim the bottom off I'm going to take a guess and say by 1/2 inch. Helps if the blade stays on the arm of the trimmer. Let's have a look. There's the blade. The blade just went into a bag that I had out the other day when I was out. Alright, so I'm taking 1/2 inch off the bottom, or not. That blade's a bit shonky. I'm going to grab that blade and hope that it's sharp. Here we go. Don't be afraid to cut your photos, ladies. I mean, really? Really? What's that? Nothing. Not chucking in the bin though. Okay, so that's now 3.5. And I'm going to cut off. Just going to start by cutting off 1 inch. And see, already I've got more room on the page and it doesn't look quite so overwhelming. Then I'm going to do the same on this one. So I'm going to take 1/2 inch off the bottom and 1 inch off that side. So we now have those 2 photos like that. All right, the next photos were this one. So if I could cut these down to actually just under 4 inches by 4 inches, I could probably go 1, 2, 3. And then I can put these 2 down the bottom possibly. So 4, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Sometimes it's really hard to cut your photos, and just a memory's come to me. I went to a girlfriend was scrapbooking at one of my classes many years ago, and she wanted to fit a photo onto a page but just couldn't do it. I said, well, you need to trim it. Could not do it because everything in the photo was important to her. The photo was important to her. I said, right, give me the trimmer. If you can't trim your own photos, that's okay. Give the photo to someone you trust and let them trim it for you. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just looking at this photo, so I'm turning it upside down. That's the other thing, turn your photo upside down. For me, my brain can't recognize it as what it is and the memory. And so it makes it a lot easier for me to cut the photo when it's upside down, as in this way, not that. That's not going to help you. So in cutting this photo, I want to cut it down to 4 inches, but if I cut it to 4 inches, my wire is telling me I'm going to cut that tire. Now, if I want these 2 photos to be similar, this tire is in the photo. So I'm just going to move it across so that that tire is in the photo a similar amount. I know that the plane is smaller and it's further away and all of that, but it's just going to give me a continuity of the photographs. So I've cut that one, and then I need to cut a little bit off this just to take it down to 4 inches because I want them to be 4 inches by 3.5. So we've got 1, 2, and then I have this one. Now looking at it, I could even do that, but it doesn't give me enough room for a title. I really want to put a title there, so I'm going to leave that there. This one needs 1/2 inch taken off the bottom, so 3.5. Like that. And then what I wanted to do with this one was really highlight all of these planes as well. So I'm going to take it, see if I can take it down to 4 inches without cutting off a wing, by going that way. No, I cut off a wing. So I'll bring it back so that I've still got that wing in and a little bit. I don't want the wing right at the edge of the photo. Get rid of that, turn it around and cut that down now to 4 inches. It doesn't matter if I take the back of those planes off, but I did want those planes in the photo. Okay, so now they will fit across the page. They're 4 inches each, which means they do need to butt up against each other. So I'm going to take just a smidge off the photos so that they do all fit with a small gap in between. So again, I need to take it off that side. And when I say a smidge, I'm talking 1/8 of an inch. So there's that one. This one I'm going to go, so these two I need to take off the right hand side so the tire stays in the photo. A little bit of cutting, but the result is going to be awesome. And the other good thing is I'm not, trying to work out a design and everything as well as far as papers. I'm just getting some photos onto a page that I can then look back on and go, oh, I just want to do a really quick page. Right, I'm going to put a strip of paper across there. I'm going to do big title here, and I'm going to do blah, 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 blah. Right, so I've got those 3 photos down. This one is next, and then I want this photo on this page where she's coming into land, lands, and then the finish off. So this one needs to be cut down, which is all good. And again, I want some continuity. So I've got this yellow tire here. I want to keep the yellow tire in this photo. I've got plenty of clouds up there, so I'm going to take that down. That's 4 inches. I cut that down to 3.5. So I'm going to need this down to at least 3.5 inches. So 3.5. And it still leaves lots of beautiful blue sky. And I'm just going to see, and that fits perfectly. Cool. So there you have it. I have just done the photos for that page. Now, I can just lay them out however and change them however, but I really want it to be aesthetically pleasing to my eye. When I look at this, when I'm going through my album, I want to be able to look at it and think, wow, that looks really good. I want to scrapbook that page. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips. When I come back to do this page, I will probably trim this edge off because it has been damaged by something. So when I'm putting these down, I'm going to bring this one in equal distance from the top and the side, just to make it look good. And then I'm going to take note of the distance that these are apart, and I'm going to make sure that my photos, no, I'm not actually, what I'm going to do is just going to pop that there for the moment. I know that these I want spaced nicely across there. I could put this to the left, in the middle, or to the right. But let me give you a tip. When you're reading, this isn't a tip. When you're reading, you tend to start as an English reading person from the top left and you read across to the right and you finish at the bottom right of the page. So naturally, when we're looking at things, we're going to go across like this and we're going to finish here. Now, if I put this here, it's fine if I want to put journaling there, and I might do that, but realistically, the photo will look better on the bottom right-hand corner of your page than anywhere else, your final photo. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, again, just spacing things out because I want it to look pretty. And also, just in case I never come back and actually put any color on this, if I've got the photos stuck down on my page, then at least I will know that when somebody comes back to look through this, it's not just a garbled mess. It actually looks pretty. This is almost a finished page. What I've done with this photo is I've come in similar distance as this one, so roughly a quarter of an inch, half an inch, something like that. And then I will measure and space these. So I want them round about there. I'm going to put the 2 edge ones on first. I may come back and completely change the layout of this. I may see an amazing, awesome layout in, you know, on another page, and I might go, oh, I really like that. But me looking at this, I'm actually getting inspired now to scrapbook this particular page. I think I could do, you know, a strip across the middle that's a little bit wider than these photos. I could do a journaling box up here, or a title up here and a journaling box down there. And I'm actually getting inspired now. So rather than feeling overwhelmed, I know I've got some pages done. Oh, I'd already put adhesive on that one. I know I've got some pages done, and I'm also inspired now to do this. And inspiration beats overwhelm. I tell you what, that page is done enough. The only thing I need is my little label, Trial Flight at Lilydale. So I'm just going to put one switch on there. Trial Flight at Lilydale Airfield 1992. So much more information needs to go onto those pages. So let me just pop that in there. And just by trimming those photos down, I haven't depleted from the photos, but I've managed to put them all onto one page. Let's work on this page. So again, I do want to keep this one in the photo. Do I keep those two together and then those two? Not really sure. You can overlap photos. I do want to keep in mind that this one is going to be next to this page. And again, I might ring Andrea and say, do you remember the first time you went flying? What did you think of it? And I might put her comments in. Andrea is a really good friend of my kids as well. And actually looking at these, do you know what? That's me in the plane. Oh my goodness. I am going to have to ring her and say, did I go for a flight as well? She'll probably say, I don't remember. That is me in the plane. That is not Andrea. Wow, I don't even remember flying. So potentially, and I did wonder why the sky here is really blue and that's white there. But that's okay. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to keep to the story that I've got. I'm going to trim this photo down there. I'm just staring at the photos. And often what happens is I do leave my photos lying around for days. I'm going to just take 1 inch off. Lying around for days until I figure out exactly how I want my photos laid out. So that one is going to go there because I've got that one there. So that's going to go there and that one can go there. I'm happy to leave that as a full photo because it fits. And these two, what I'm thinking of doing, because the other tip with scrapbooking is to create a triangle on your page. So you can see the photos are coming down like that and then they go back up like that. So that is how I'm going to lay out my page, because if I do it like that, which again is your left to right method, to me it doesn't feel balanced. Whereas if I swap them around, it feels balanced. And then all I need to do is, this is the bad part, find some stamps, embellishments, whatever you like, to decorate this with. And I know that Close to My Heart used to have a stamp that had an aeroplane and clouds on it, and I really liked it and I never bought it. Didn't buy it. So I'm going to have to look and see. I'll do a search on my website and see if there are any planes. And if there are, well, I've got a surprise to tell you. It's a bit of a naughty. We've got a stamp sale coming up next month. The Close to My Heart are taking 35% off selected stamps. Is that right? Or is it 50% off stamps? I think it's 50% off selected stamp sets and 35% off selected stamp and thin cut sets. And I was shocked today. This one, they're taking 35% off it. I'm absolutely gobsmacked. Very, very gobsmacked. So that's from the 1st of June. Another tip, I put it in the middle so that I'm not putting adhesive on this corner here. So from the 1st of June, you can get some bargains, absolute bargains on stamps and thin cuts. Now stamps and thin cuts and standalone stamp sets. Now the stamps, they are going to be available all month. They will not run out of stamps because Close to My Heart do produce stamps in-house. However, the stamp and thin cut bundles, they may run out. They are only available while supplies last because the thin cuts are not produced in-house and therefore they may run out. All right, I have done another 2 pages, which I'm really happy with. I really, really like them. And now I just want to keep going. But I'm going to stop this video and let you go. I have some house cleaning to do because we have an open house today for our house which is on the market. I'm going to bring this album back in and just show you what I've done, because although there is absolutely no colour on these pages, I know my photos are now safe. They have a bit of a layout. I could always put, you know, a 6x6 sheet of white daisy cardstock in there just so that I can see, you know, that's what it's going to look like, but I'm happy to leave it as is. But this is what my album now looks like. This could be an album as is. So I've got that page there, which fits perfectly. I have this, which I've got that not so good photo underneath hidden. Then I've got this one. I've got 2 photos there. And I've got this page, which I absolutely love. And I'm so happy to be able to see all the photos on 2 pages and not over multiple pages. This, to me, is inspiring. I can come back and look through here just after taking that little bit of time. I can come back and look through here and go, oh, I want to put something on here. Or, oh, there's some paper that I bought that I really like that's got some purples in it that will go really here. You know, a Picture My Life card will fit perfectly under here. And it's got a really nice sentiment or something. You know, those sort of things. And as I said, I came out of bed this morning feeling completely overwhelmed. Part of that was probably because I'd been scrolling through my phone and having a look at all these wonderful stories. I know I'm looking through windows, but people seem to be living the most amazing lives. And I just felt overwhelmed. And I came in here and I thought, what am I going to share today? How am I going to get over my overwhelm? I know I have a full album that I want to get through. And you've seen it's taken me about 45 minutes to get through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pages. But that's 9 pages I've saved. Yes, I've got a truckload more, but as I go, it's going to get faster. And instead of being in here, they will be in a good album, a safe album. So that's fantastic. I hope that this has inspired you to do something with your overwhelm. I'm actually going to finish this on that page because I love that page, even though there's no colour on it. I absolutely love that page. Hope this has inspired you to do something. I know it wasn't really creativity. For card makers, if you're a card maker and you're out there watching, what I would recommend for you to do to overcome overwhelm is, again, just do something simple. Do something simple because it will spark your creativity and it will get you going. All right, my lovelies, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I hope that you have a fantastic day. The sun is shining. That is going to help me because the sunshine always helps me. I hope that you get out to get into the sunshine today. I'm going to go and do some cleaning, vacuuming and mopping. At least I know what I'm doing. And then if I've got time, I might come back and do some more scrapbooking. Have a fantastic day, ladies. Love to every single one of you. Stay safe, keep crafting, and bye for now.